Hello my friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Ian with Out of This World Reader, and today's video is going to be my first TBR, my first reading TBR of 2022. And I've just packed it full of books because I am still on break and I think it ends on kind of closer to the end of January. So I'm hoping I can read a ton and relax a little bit before I dive right back into university. So this is going to be a very large TBR, very ambitious TBR, and I've got a lot of great picks to go over. So I think without further ado, let's hop in with what I'm going to be reading this month. First up, the Biblionauts book club pick for the month of January is a new release, and it is Iron Widow. So far I've seen really great things about this from several people. Hugo, he did a really good review. I'll make sure to leave a link down below to his video, but he really enjoyed it and just the concepts and sci-fi aspects that it kind of included. So I feel like I will enjoy it just as much. This is said to be kind of like the Poppy War meets the Pacific Rim, and Pacific Rim was one of my favorite kind of sci-fi movies. I love the aspects of just like giant Jaegers fighting monsters coming out of the sea. I thought that was so cool. And I'm hoping that this one delivers just as much as that movie did, as well as kind of the aspects of the Poppy War. I'm really hoping for that as well. And you will see here pretty soon the Poppy War will be on this TBR as well. So I'm hoping that maybe these two will mesh perfectly and it'll just make it a great reading experience. This is following a main character, I believe, who kind of offers herself up as a concubine kind of pilot, because these pilots of these giant, I believe they're called like chrysalises, they require a dual kind of pilot system, and it requires a male and a female, and she offers up herself as a concubine because like the female pilots are often kind of sacrificed, and her sister was actually sacrificed, so she's joining as a pilot. She volunteers and she's hoping to kind of get revenge for her sister's kind of murderers as by joining as a pilot. But I believe she is paired with a pilot that is kind of very mysterious and got a lot going on, and he's like the best male pilot around. So I'm really interested to see how this kind of plays out and see what it delivers. And if you want to join in on that pick as well as this next upcoming pick, there'll be a link down to the Discord for the Biblionauts book club if you want to join in for the month. There's also February and March picks on there, so you can get a hold of those for the upcoming months, and you can also recommend books for the upcoming months after March. But for the Biblionauts, we will also be starting a series read-along for January, February, March, and that is going to be The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This has been everywhere lately. I believe the final book just came out this last year, and everybody was kind of drawn between whether they really loved it or didn't like it as much. But I've heard nothing but great things about this series, and like in general, like just the fight scenes and the aspects of kind of rage and tactics, military tactics, as well as just a blend of history as well. Like, I have heard great things from everyone from it, and I'm really excited to see what goes on and what all the hype is about. I believe it's got like a little bit of a training academy as well, and that is one of my favorite tropes ever. Just seeing a character kind of develop and learn skills at a training academy is so cool. And I'm excited to see how Ren, I believe that is the main character's name, kind of changed. That is another thing I've heard from this series, is that she really kind of develops and changes in character throughout the 3 books. And she almost becomes like the villain, I believe, or just evil in general. And it is not just following her, I believe there's other perspectives as well. And I'm really excited for it. And I'm hoping that combined with the Iron Widow, it just makes a perfect blend for just this month in general. So if you want to join in on the series read along, there'll be that link down below. And then also on this channel starting the year, I will be continuing on with Diamond in the Rough adventures. I don't know whether I'll be doing like a reading vlog or kind of just a specific review. It'll all kind of depend on school and everything, because it takes a lot to edit these vlogs and put in the effort and stuff to kind of compose them and put them together. So I might just do like a review, because I do enjoy those doing. But for the Diamond in the Rough, the quest for this month is going to be There Will Come a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole. This sounds very Six of Crows-esque. There's like a group of kind of characters. They all come from different walks of life. In this world, there's a kind of a group of prophets that kind of made sure everything kind of flowed perfectly in this empire, this kingdom. And one day they kind of just disappeared. And then 100 years later, they said that another prophet will kind of be born, and that prophet will either be kind of the one that saves them all or brings upon their destruction. And then there's like 5 different characters that are very kind of like Six of Crows like, that one of them might be this prophet and one of them might bring the destruction. So they're all kind of set on this path, this collision course, and I've heard nothing about it. So I'm really interested to see where it goes. And turns out this is actually a series, so if I do enjoy it, I will continue on with it. But other than that, the cover is stunning. I like this little burning lighthouse down here, but I'm excited to see where it goes. But for this, if you do want to join in, there'll be kind of like a little chat box in the Discord if you do decide to pick it up and kind of determine whether this is a diamond in the rough or not. So I guess this year I will be starting a lot of series, and that is, I don't know if that's a good thing because I am in the middle of a lot of series, but this one is complete, so I don't have to wait on any releases. And I've heard great things about it. The final book just came out, and people are already raving about it. They said it was their best book of the year. So I'm excited to see how I enjoy this kind of new series. And that is going to be Jade City by Fonda Lee. Mel reads, another booktuber. I'll make sure to leave a link to her video kind of describing, but she's doing a kind of series read-along for this whole trilogy, and I will be joining along, kind of joining into the discussion. But if you haven't read this yet, I would definitely recommend you kind of join in with the discussion and kind of read these along through January, February, March. And I've always wanted to read kind of like a fantasy Godfather kind of story, and I'm really excited to see how it kind of incorporates everything with like the use of Jade, and how the Jade kind of gives them powers and makes them stronger and stuff like that, and kind of the rivalry between the two families within Cape Con. It almost sounds like Our Violent Delights, or These Violent Delights, Our Violent Ends. That kind of series, the Romeo and Juliet kind of retelling. But I really enjoyed that, so I'm hoping that this one is just as good, or if not better. So if you really want to read along, I'll make sure to leave a link down to her video describing it, and I'm excited for it. I've heard that the third book just absolutely destroyed people, and I will be just binging this whole series over the next 3 months. Next up, I will be reading the second book in the Winter Night trilogy, which is The Girl in the Tower by Catherine Arden. I did enjoy The Bear and the Nightingale and the kind of the atmosphere that it kind of put forth and put me in. I thought it was perfect for the time that I picked it up, being winter, and I really want to just finish this series through the winter months. So I'll be reading this book a month and then the final book next month, because I feel like this atmosphere, it's hopefully going to start snowing soon, and the atmosphere that this provided, like, it really made me feel cold and just trapped inside with just like snow piling in. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll get some snow here pretty soon, and it will just continue to provide that great atmosphere that's in this book. The writing is stunning. It also incorporates a lot of just Russian folklore and mythology, and I really enjoyed that about the first one, but I was kind of let down about the first one with the aspects of kind of like the fantasy and magic. I felt like it wasn't introduced or kind of incorporated as much as I was hoping or expecting, and I don't know if that was kind of just the wrong thing for me to go in with, but just the overall kind of character growth that seeing Vastia go through, I thought that was great, seeing her kind of grow up, but just seeing her learn more about just everything, the folklore going around, and how it kind of incorporates into their world and their little tiny village in the middle of kind of nowhere and trapped in the snow, and how it all kind of played out. And the ending, it almost felt like book could have been a standalone. So I'm very interested to see where it will go in this one. Like, I have no idea where it will go, and it might just continue on with Bastia's story. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I think the majority of these picks are starting series or continue on with series. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe January is just the month for that. But this month I'm hoping to pick up A Court of Wings and Fury, which is like the third book in A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I currently started reading A Court of Mist and Fury. I don't know what the names are of all of them, but I'll put a picture right here to cover up the empty bookshelf. But I just started that this morning, so I'm really interested to see how it will continue after the first book with the kind of Feyre kind of solving a little bit of problems within the Pyria. It kind of introduced a little bit to where it was going to go from there, so I have no idea what the second book is about, other than there is a lot of schmut and kind of romance. The first one introduced a little bit of romance into the kind of the relationships, and I've heard that the second book is just the one that has the most. So I don't know. I am a rookie with romance, so we'll see where that goes. But if I do finish that book and I do get my hands on a copy of the third book, I will continue on with that. And I guess here's another series that I will be starting in the month of January, and that is going to be the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. I just finished Warbreaker last night, and that was just outstanding. I just love Brandon Sanderson's works, and I'm really hoping to get into more. I'm hoping to reread the first era Mistborn trilogy, and then kind of read the second era before that fourth book comes out. I think it's the final book too, so then I can just finish that and then get into Rhythm of War. But I thought I just can't get enough of Brandon Sanderson, so I'm really hoping to pick up his sci-fi YA series and just finish that, because the third book just came out and I've heard great things about that as well. I believe this is following Spencer, whose world is kind of under attack, and she's been trying to be like a pilot for the kind of world's defenders, but she has a hard time trying to because her father fled in one of the greatest battles, and it's kind of just painted her family and her as well as just cowards, and she's not able to kind of be a pilot. So I believe she finds like a ship or something, and then she becomes a pilot and she starts kicking ass. So I'm hoping that this is just as great as all the other books that I've read by him. This next book I'm hoping to pick up again. I read it a couple months ago and I just wasn't vibing with it. I put it down at about 100 pages in. I'm hoping to pick up the audiobook version this time, and hopefully I will enjoy it a ton better, and that is going to be Children of Dune, which is the third book in the Dune Chronicles by Frank Herbert. I did enjoy the first one, and the second one really let me down, and then when I started this one, like I just enjoyed kind of learning more about just like Dune, as well as the children of Paul, and learning more about them and their kind of journey. But it almost feels like my enjoyment of this series has just kind of gone down over each book. So I'm hoping that picking up the audiobook will kind of revive that love from the first book. But I've heard great things about the audiobook, and I just really want to finish this trilogy this series, because I did enjoy that first book, and I'm hoping that the second book was just a little bit of a kind of rough patch, or kind of like a rock in the river. So I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully this will go. Let me know what you think about the following books. I've heard that they get pretty weird. And the final book on this very large TBR is going to be Survive the Night by Riley Sager. My library loan for the audiobook is going to be coming in sometime this month, so I'll be picking this up. I really do enjoy some of Riley Sager's other works, like Lock Every Door and Home Before Dark. That is probably one of my favorite mystery thrillers ever. But The Final Girls, I did not enjoy that, and I have not heard great things about this one at all. Every review I've seen is not very good, and I think the average rating was like a 3-star, which is shocking for Riley Sager, especially his other books that he's kind of produced. So I'm hoping that I will enjoy it. But in here you are following a girl, I believe, who is kind of on college break, and her friend just died by the kind of campus killer, and she's trying to get home and she can't find a ride, but so she randomly kind of gets in the car with a guy who offers her to take her. So that's kind of, I don't know, we'll see how that plays out, and it becomes like a cat and mouse game between the two, kind of trying to figure things out. I don't know. I'm hoping that I do enjoy it, but we'll see. But those are all the picks that I do plan on picking up this month. I'm sure there'll be a couple other books, like library loans with audiobooks and stuff coming in, that I'll pick up as well. And I'm sure that I'll be picking up a lot more books other than these. This is not kind of like a strict plan or anything besides those book club picks. So it's just going to be really random. I don't know. It'll depend on my mood. But that is going to be all for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you plan on picking up for the first month of 2022. What are your plans for the year as well? It is gonna be a great year. I hope. I say this every year, but we'll see how it goes. But it is time to leave you with a message from Ellie, who first wishes you to have a splendid day. But she also says that adventure is out there. So I'll catch you next time. Bye.